Hi, I'm Georgia from the Strength of G podcast.
And I'm Kany from Coach by Kany podcast.
And today we're doing a joint episode. And I wanted to do something a little bit different this January. I know January can be a bit heavy. There's a lot of pressure to be perfect, to train harder, to eat less, do more, to get back to the gym. So this series is a series of just funny, relaxed conversations between coaches that I love, and telling a bit of stories from our training journeys, and hopefully something that makes your day feel a little bit lighter, but also that you can relate to, so that you can see that even we have awkward moments in the gym or fails in the gym. Even we have some equipment that we don't know how to set up, and just making it a little bit more relatable. I'm calling it Laughing Our Way Through January. And I used to hate January. I just found it really depressing and no one's up for doing anything and it's long, dark evenings. So I thought this year I'm doing things differently. I'm not going to be miserable. And what day is it? It's the 6th of January and I'm already having a lot of fun. So it's working. So hopefully this brightens your day as well. So I thought we could start with doing a little intro about ourselves and what we do, and in particular talking about our passions. So rather than talking just about our coaching, Kany is very passionate about boxing. I'm very passionate about parkour or free running. So maybe I'll hand over to you, Kany, to chat about boxing and kind of when you started, why you started, or why you love it, and also I think there's a big thing to say about finding something you enjoy makes exercise easier.
Definitely. So thank you for that. And in terms of my sort of boxing journey, so I am turning 40 in 2 weeks. And over the years, I've got generalized anxiety disorder. I had a what I would call a very stressful corporate career in cyber/information security, in a managerial position, and I'm just generally quite a sort of what people would say type A neurotic sort of person. And I've trained for the longest time, but I've always had an interest in boxing purely because it felt like a dance. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't that sort of keno who would, start shadow boxing. I'm not like that. I'm quite like timid when it comes to doing things like that in public. And my previous boxing coach, I would see him once every couple of months, but it was just too far to get to. So last year, no, not last year. What year are we in? We're in 2020, 2024. In August, yeah, I was looking to basically get my daughter into another sport. We were already doing swimming, we were doing Japanese jiu-jitsu, both of us together, and I thought, why not add something else to the plate, and go to a boxing class. So approached a PT at the gym who was like, oh, actually, I'm a head coach at a boxing gym. Why don't you come down? Anyway, get there, did my first boxing class. I felt like my soul had left my body. Like I thought I was fit. It was something else. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours of continuous drills, pad work, conditioning, and I was like, I don't know whether I want to go back or not. And then I kept going back every week, and then it turned into her going, and I was getting bored because parents are not allowed in the actual room. And then I was like, look, I'm a PT, I want to help out, might as well use my time. And then I just started helping with the kids, and then ended up getting my England level 1 boxing coach certification, which basically allows me to coach young children in the world of amateur boxing. So it's grassroots, it's all voluntary, and that was in March last year. And then in September, I quit my corporate career to go in full on the online coaching space and coaching in boxing.
Amazing. That's so cool. That's such a big change. It's quite brave as well to like
It's
go from
scary.
your corporate career and your position there to then something completely different, which obviously gives you purpose and you're passionate about and you want to help more people do it and more people enjoy it.
Definitely. And without getting too deep, I come from a background of domestic violence, and it's been so nice to kind of change the narrative around, yes, boxing is a violent sport, but in the ring, you're trying to take all the emotion out of it. So when you're sparring, and I'm quite an emotional person, but remove that emotion that you have, you know, look at your basically your opponent, and you're trying to land those jabs and those shots, but outside of the ring, like you're having a laugh, you're
Mm,
joking, you're dancing around, you know, you're taking the mickey out of each other, and it's brought a lot of peace in my head, and made it so much fun, like brought the child out in me.
yeah, that's so nice. There's so much you've said actually already, which I'm surprised actually. There's so much you've said already that relates to parkour. But also what you were just saying is, yeah, and also, so you said boxing is a violent sport, but equally, I imagine when you're in the ring or when you're sparring, there's respect. It's, there's you know the deal, you know the rules or whatever they're called, and there's a level of respect. Like, yes, you are fighting, but it's different, and you're getting stronger, and like you say, you're actually both there and care about each other and want each other to progress.
Yeah, it's really like you're not trying. Like I sparred yesterday; it was my first spar of the year, and I remember when I first started sparring, because I stupidly entered a white collar boxing match last year, which I pulled out of because when I was initially sparring, it was just knocking me for six, and in one spar, I actually started crying, and I just ran out, and those sorts of emotions don't carry you well, because it
Yeah.
gets you out of the head, like, you know, you're working on your technique, you're working on, you know, cutting off your opponent, landing those jabs or those hooks, and a lot of it is technique work, a lot of it is fitness, there's mutual respect, like you say, you're not trying to kill each other
Mm.
in that ring, it's not bare knuckle fighting,
Yeah.
and it's an art, and when it's done really well, it looks like, for me, the way I describe it is poetry in motion.
That's so nice. Which is kind of, you mentioned dance as well before,
That, yeah.
and there's something really beautiful about that. I guess it's movement. Yeah, poetry in motion. What do you mean with that?
So I like the words that probably couldn't be expressed through spoken word or writing down. When you see their hips, their feet, the trunk, the hands, the head, all kind of like moving very fluidly when it's done really well.
Yeah,
Um, it just looks amazing. Like if you've watched any really good boxing matches, whether it's, you know, female boxers or you know, men boxers, they just flow. It's
yeah,
just effortless, and to get to that level is very,
yeah,
very hard,
yeah.
very hard.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of, it's an art, I
Yeah,
guess. Movement is an
yeah,
art, just like dance is. And yeah, like you say, like flow and just complete mastery or control of their body. Yeah. It's similar in parkour as well, of like
yeah,
when someone moves really well. And I think the shame with parkour is a lot of videos when you watch them, because parkour is so much online now and social media, and that's such a big part of it. But when you watch videos, often things look so effortless that people's reaction is like, oh, yeah, I could do that, until you go and try and do it. And then you're like, oh, or like then you see the actual gaps. And in a video, they always look smaller. Like no matter what, if something looks big in a video, it means in real life it's like insane. Like
yeah,
you go there and you're like, no, no, people can't jump that distance, but they have. So in a video, things always look smaller, and it always kind of, when it's done like you say, like perfectly, seamlessly, effortlessly, the reaction is usually like, oh yeah, I could do that, and then until you try, and then you're like, oh, like actually I can't land and go again or connect movements, or it just looks completely different when it's done by someone who's doing it for the first time.
yeah,
But yeah, the same. Like I feel like when in parkour, when things are done really well, it looks to me like a dance. It looks like dancing on walls. I'm like, it's kind of, yes, there in parkour there is big jumps, and there is definitely a like desire to increase this, like the size of your jump essentially, and that is something that is exciting. It's an exciting part of the journey, but equally, it's not just about a big jump or a jump on a rooftop. It's actually a lot of the time it's spent on like low walls, learning to connect movements. And so it is kind of like a choreography or dancing on walls.
I I I love watching parkour. Like it to me just feels, one, because I'm really clumsy, so clumsy. And I would hurt myself, and I have hurt myself even just jumping off a wall. But it looks to me like a child in me just would want to
Mm,
come out.
mm,
And Bella does it all the time. Like, we've spoken about this.
yeah,
She does it at school. She'll do it in the boxing gym. I'm like, this is a boxing gym. It's not a parkour. Um, but we were in France a couple of months ago, and there was like this like long standing outside of the station, and she was just running around. She was like, look, I'm doing parkour. And it brings out that sort of, play like
yeah,
child in you. But I think people look at it and think, like you say, oh, it looks easy, but it's not, because it's
yeah,
those intricacies
yeah.
that help you get to that sort of next level.
Yeah, and also we're not used to jumping anymore. Like we haven't, I say we, like the average person hasn't jumped since they were a kid. We stop, which is just, I don't know, just society. You go to uni, you get a job. Jumping isn't a part of that, which is fine, but it does mean that then if you try to do it, we're just completely out of practice. We were both watching that TED talk that's going around now, where Taylor was saying, people always ask me, why did you start parkour? And I say, well, why did you stop? Because we all did it as kids. And actually, it's kind of interesting. On Sundays, I go out with a group of friends and we train most Sundays. And when I think back sometimes of what we've been doing that day, I'm like, we're kind of just a bunch of adults trying things. And like we go to a place, we like the setup, and it's just somewhere outdoors, and we're like, oh, do you think you could do that? And we're just kind of trying things and figuring them out. And actually, we don't do that very often as adults. If anything, maybe we do in like you and me in our like coaching mentorship, because a lot of it is like, have you tried this? Or do you do that? Or has anyone done this with Instagram? Or, it's that kind of same thing of like, we're trying things, we're figuring it out, we're learning how best to approach, say, marketing our coaching businesses. And it's kind of like that. Like, but with your body, you're like going out and being like, do you think you can jump across that? I don't know. Should we try? Should we try on the floor next to it? Oh yeah, you can definitely do it. You should do it. And then you go up there and you have a look and you're like, oh, it looks kind of scary from here. And it's actually such a fun thing to do. And I guess what I'm saying is, for a long time I've taken it for granted. It's just normal to me. And now recently, maybe because I'm talking about it more on my social media, I'm talking more about parkour, I've reflected a bit more, and I'm like, actually, it's quite special what we have, that we can go out as adults and just try stuff. It's kind
It
of a
is.
weird thing.
It is weird, and like I said, I suffer a lot with anxiety, and I have done for a number of years. But just walking into that gym brings me such a level of like being present, being in peace. I'm not responding to my phone, or trying not to anyway in between rounds. And I get to coach the kids. Like, I'm coaching the kids class today, and it's so much fun just kind of, seeing them connect with adults, and then similar like-minded adults connecting with each other. And then it's a case of, have you gone out for your run this week? Because a lot of boxing is running.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd stopped running for a long time because I had an injury from running, and then boxing got me back into running again. So it's those sorts of things. Or have you made sure that you've, perfected your press ups? Because there's a lot of, shoulder, chest movements in there. There's jumping around, plyometrics. There's so many different things that it makes you want to try. Oh, I can't do this. And a lot of people say to me, oh, I'm nervous, or I'm, especially women, or, I'm scared I'm going to get hit. You won't get hit if you do if you do it properly, because there's a lot of conditions that you have to follow if you're doing tech work. But also, it's just meant to be a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. Like, I'm never going to be coaching elite level, world level pro boxers. The kind of people that I'm coaching is everyday people who
Yeah.
want to get into it, want to stay a little bit fitter, get a little bit more confident, and with the kids, if they ever end up to that level, there are other coaches that are a lot better than me that could do that job.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember because I did a little bit of Thai boxing for a few years when I was 16. And I remember like you don't get punched as in like you're the whole point is as they punch you, you like bring up your arms or so they're hitting like your arm or something. They're not hitting you in the face every time or very rarely. And yeah, and most of the time, yeah, you're just getting tapped. You're not or you're doing drills like when you hold the like long blocks
Yeah.
and they like kick you. So you're holding a specific pad for them to practice on. What I love is the shared space of like this is the space where kids come to be active and adults come to be active, and there's I think that's what it just is so good for like role modeling without being prescriptive about it. It's like it's just normal. It's just normalized that adults are active and kids are active, and for the kids that's such a healthy thing to see like their mum going into boxing as well.
Yeah, I mean, Bella hates it because I'm also her coach. So I try not to coach her, and she gets really upset if I'm like, in coach mentality. But she is, we've got weights at home, we do stuff at home. I take her to track sometimes, she comes along, and she loves the fact that I've got muscles. She tells me all the time that I look great, I look strong. She wants muscles, and it's a lovely way of, like you say, not enforcing it, but they then decide, oh, actually, I want to look like that, I want to feel like that.
Yeah.
Well, why is your, I don't know, something silly like, why is your hair so shiny? Well, it's because you eat your fruit and vegetables, all these different things. And they do pick up on it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think I'd love to create something like that in the future with parkour as well. There is a few coaches that do have like family classes. So yeah, because I do women's classes, but what I'd love to do at some point is like have a class where it's like parents and their kids, so that I can almost be like kids. You now need to teach your parents to do parkour because you probably do it better than them, and just getting them to play. And again, it's not about who can do the biggest jump. It's about getting comfortable, like climbing up onto things, climbing across things, and probably the parents will be more nervous. But so for once, it's the kids showing them the way. I think that
Hmm.
could be so cute and healthy. And it's like cool, you're going to move together and actually train and get stronger together. And it's really good for the adults too because actually we're kind of more sedentary, less active than we've ever been as a society.
Yeah, and I think a lot, and without again getting too deep, I think a lot of people have actually lost their purpose. Like they go to work, they do and I know I did for a long time. They do the 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, whatever it is. They come home, make food, do bedtime. By that time, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then they just want some sort of sense of, time to themselves. So that might be a little bit of Netflix or doom scrolling. And again, nothing wrong with those things. But when it becomes a pattern where you then don't, I don't know, you almost feel like out of touch and you don't recognize who you are and what
Mhm.
sort of things that you might even be interested in, never mind taking those up. um I think when you've got, because I see a lot of mums take their kids to sports, to activities, but they're not doing much together.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, yeah, because it's like, the job of a mum is hard anyway, but also you're like driving them, picking them up from school, taking them to their sport. And then, of course, it's really hard to fit in your time as well. For you to go to the gym, and also you going to the gym means not seeing them, etc. Or maybe you have work to finish. But if you could, like, even just once a week, combine that into like it's an hour where you're both exercising, and then hopefully that also would like plant the seed for on a day off, say like a Sunday, you also go to the park together and you climb the tree with them. Then it's like you're both being active is really important also for your health as a parent and your longevity. So like, and that's important to your kids as well. But it's something you can do together. Um, yeah, I think some families are really active, but I think a lot more families could be, and it is daunting to begin with if, like you say, you haven't jumped for a long time or you haven't climbed a tree in a long time. It's kind of like, oh, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to, of course, I don't want to like break my ankle and then I can't look after my kids. Of course not. Yeah. Yeah. So you put in, we were writing some notes and I said, like, let's talk about also some kind of funny moments or some fails that we've had. And I saw you put a note where you said, fallen off the treadmill after a hand surgery. What's that
Yes.
story?
So after I had Bella, I developed carpal tunnel in both hands.
Mm.
So I had to have my left hand, which is my dominant hand, operated on,
Because
and
carpal
then
tunnel is like you get wrist pain.
yeah, so like all you get numb tingling in your fingers, and it's basically one of the, I think it's the ulna or ulva, one of those nerves in your wrists. And essentially I would have like dead hand, I
Mm.
couldn't grip onto stuff, and basically losing the sensation in my hands, because in pregnancy your hormones relax, and can create carpal tunnel for a lot of women.
Yeah.
And I was told, don't train, stop training, and I was like, I'm not gonna stop, I'm not gonna stop doing that. Anyway, so had it operated on, went back to training, was given the clear, and I don't know what was, I think I was doing sprints on the treadmill because I thought, this is fine, I can do this, I'm not using my hands, right? And I think I just went a little bit too fast, caught my ankle, fully glided off that treadmill, landed on like the way I kind of stopped it was on that wrist, like, just to break the fall, cut open my knees. Like, I was so embarrassed because everyone was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm okay." But yeah, I just do stupid shit in the gym all the time.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, there's the hand, but hand aside, falling off a treadmill sounds scary anyway. That
I've
sounds
got some
terrifying.
I've got some other stories I won't share because it might actually put people off
Yeah,
going to the gym.
please. You don't want that. But it is okay to like trip up or I went for a run on Saturday. I actually don't run very often, but this year I'm running once a week.
Yeah.
So it's one of my goals. And so I went for a park run on Saturday and I was just like walking to the park run. And well, like now, the sun's really low. It's January. The sun's quite low even mid-morning. And so I couldn't see well, but it was a lovely morning. And so I went walking down the pavement. I avoided a guy was coming, so I went onto the like outer side, closer to the road, past a tree that was there on the pavement, but didn't see that it had low branches, so just walked into the branches because the sun was so low I couldn't see. So then I just had to be like check my hair wasn't standing up, like if my hair as well would get caught in the tree and just stick out. And then and just like was like just gonna carry on walking like nothing happened. But like we all do embarrassing stuff, including in the gym. And yeah, I think especially for people going back to the gym after a long time, it can feel quite intimidating. And it can feel like everyone's watching you. And like most of the time, 99% of the time, they're really not. They're either waiting for the machine you're on, like they're not looking at you, they're looking at the machine. Um, I felt bad yesterday. I was using a where you do bench press as a bench for Bulgarian split squats, so as a
Okay.
position for my foot. And I just didn't notice. And maybe this is me overthinking it, and I just want to be nice to people, but there was a guy who just sat down for a while on a machine. And to be fair, he didn't stare at me. He stared at the room, so I thought he was looking at the guys waiting for them to finish. But then after a bit, he just stood up and left, and I was like, oh, I wonder. He was quite close to me, so I was like, I wonder if he was waiting for this bench. And I could have said to him like, I don't mind sharing. I would have been like, do you want to do bench press? Like, I just need it for my foot. Like, I can do it while you're resting, or I could have used something. I don't know. I could have probably found something else. So I felt a bit bad because he stood there for like 5-10 minutes and then left, and it was literally my last set. So again, if he'd talked to me, I would have said like, I'm about to finish, and you can have this bench. But anyway, he didn't talk to me, which is actually like super polite. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I felt more bad if like I was hogging a bench. That maybe there's only in my gym for some reason for bench press there's only like two places that are set up for it. There are other places you could do it, so I felt a bit bad for hogging it. But yeah, most of the time people are just waiting for equipment, or they're looking at their phone, or they're zoned out, staring into the distance. Now you do get obviously people that are maybe like in the gym looking around, but yeah, you can't let them stop you going to the gym. Like,
No.
just go in, do your
No.
thing. Like I
Yeah.
was the other day as well. Like have a plan, know kind of what you want to do. Leanne gave a really good tip that was like get on the treadmill when you get there and just start walking, just walking and scan the room. Sort of start to know like where are the machines, where are the barbells, where are the treadmills, what are you maybe you can look at your plan on your phone or wherever you've got it written and start to sort of plan out where you're going to go. And if the barbells are looking very busy, you can think, okay, maybe I'll do that a little bit later. Let's start with some other things. And that's actually a really good idea, because then you're kind of busy doing something, walking. You don't feel like you're just stood there like a lemon, but you're just scanning the room and making a plan.
It's such a good tip, and I do that some days when I just don't want to train or my anxiety is really like high. I'll just go in, I'll go either sit somewhere or I'll go on the treadmill and I'll scan, and then I'll be like, right, okay, this is where I'm going to position myself and this is what I'm going to do. And if that means changing my already programmed plan for that day, so be it. But at least I've gone in, I've not run out. And it still happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have to some days force myself to go to the gym, and I love going to the gym. So, where you can, try and see if there's a specific, thing that you want to do. It could, if you don't want to be on the gym space, maybe booking for a class, yoga, whatever it is, just to kind of get you moving. I typically have my headphones on, and I've got really big headphones because I've got my favorite people that I speak to in the gym, but actually that's only come on in the last couple of years. And generally I'm like head down, get in the zone, and don't speak to me vibes. And that can sound really intimidating, but I assure you that sometimes it's because we don't want to be nuisances to anyone else. We're really friendly. Like if someone asks me for something, it's like, fine, go ahead, use it, or I've got one set left or whatever. But sometimes we're not always constantly smiling because we feel like we should be smiling. We just want to get on with it and get out.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, and also if it's intimidating to see like people with just like a stern face, I mean, often they're just like, they didn't want to come either. Just like you didn't want to go to the gym, they didn't want to go to the gym either. They're there, they're forcing themselves to do it. They're just like, I just want to get this done. So there's that. And then also, actually, it's kind of a good thing to go in, headphones on, block everyone out. Obviously, be nice if you bump into someone, but just do your workout, because actually the worst thing you can do is go in and just chat the whole time. Like, I would spend 10 minutes chatting to someone and you only had 45 minutes to do your workout, so now you've got 35 minutes. So it's even better if you can just go in, get it done and leave. And actually, with a lot more people working from home and a lot more workplaces more understanding of the importance of breaks and health, like looking after your health, I would encourage you to talk to work and potentially have a lunch break where you go to the gym. And because that means also you can go to the gym at a time when it's quieter. Because I imagine one of the barriers is going in the morning or going after work is peak time, it's really busy, it's hard to get on equipment, it's really overstimulating. Whereas, for example, because I work for myself, like I go always in the middle of the day. I'll go either morning, like first thing, but like not really early, maybe like 9 a.m. or any time basically when is normal office time, and it's really quiet. So if you can do that, then appreciate that's not possible for everyone. But if you can do that, or you can have work, once or twice a week, your lunch break is you go to the gym and you come back. That's great, because then it's quieter, and like I generally don't wait for equipment. It's less overstimulating. It's a great break from your desk. One of the most important tips my physio gave me was like, there isn't one posture that's wrong. It's just holding one for 8 hours. So if you can, rather than do the gym at the beginning or the end, if you can, or even just go for a walk, take a break in the middle of the day, that's the best thing you can do, is to break up your day and not just spend 8 hours, with your kind of neck crane or your head craned forwards at a desk. So again, another reason to go to the gym in the middle of the day. And it doesn't need to be an hour and a half. Like you can go in and do 35, 45 minutes, do it focused, do it, multiple times a week, maybe 2-3 times a week. You can do it more than that, but 2-3 times a week. And you will see a difference. Like I noticed it, yesterday I was a bit unmotivated to go, but I know that, for example, at the moment I'm always working on skills and parkour, but I'm also working on a bit of a little body transformation for me, which is to get leaner and more show my muscles more. And I know that workout is just one of many, but that consistency, that going even when I didn't want to, and maybe I didn't lift the heaviest weights I've ever lifted, but it just helped to continue to build muscle and not leave long breaks from one session to the next. So sometimes it is just going in, it's a ticking off the exercises you need to do, stimulating the muscle again, and then getting out of there.
Absolutely. And talking, I mean, you might not want to talk about your little physique goal right now, but I remember when I was prepping for my photo shoot, this was in 2023, I had some of the best PBs I'd ever had whilst on some of the lowest calories that I was. Because I feel like sometimes people think, I mean, don't get me wrong, there were days when I was absolutely knackered. I had like zero energy, but there were other days when I was like, I'm going into that gym, I've got 20, 30 minutes, and that's all I had at the time. Um, if I can't do 3 sets, I'll do 2 sets, and those 2 sets are going to be absolutely banging. And there were, and that sort of mind to muscle connection. I think people just tell themselves, "Oh, I'm going to be weak." You're not always going to be weak. It's like
Yeah.
a whole narrative around, "Oh, I'm due on my period. I'm going to be weak." That's not always the case.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually was on quite low calories that day and the day before, which means you're going to feel a little bit weak. But I say I didn't do my best lifts. Actually, yeah, because I wasn't. Well, actually, I didn't do my heaviest lifts mainly because of the thing I mentioned on my stories, which is this
Mhm.
lower back injury I've got. So my deadlift is nowhere near where I want it to be because of a lower back issue I'm having, which is finally getting better. But for example, on pull-ups, I was still doing 10 kilo
Yeah.
pull-ups, like pull-ups with 10 kilos on me. My PB is 17 and a half, but I'm not doing that at the moment. Like I'm building back up to that. So yeah. And also I think because lower calories is what's going to help you lose weight. Lower calories can make you feel like you have less energy, but you're also, if you are doing something where you're trying to change your body, like become a little bit leaner, maybe build some muscle, all that stuff, like transform your body, you're locked in. You're in a process where you're so focused. So like you going in for those 20-minute workouts, and by the way, we both know people who get insane results with 20-minute workouts. So they absolutely are a thing. It does matter what you do in those 20 minutes, but you
Mhm.
can absolutely get results with doing 20 minutes a day in the gym. But the point is, when one of the great things about doing a body transformation, doing it the right way and in a healthy way, is also that you're locked in. You're probably working with a coach. You're probably spending a bit of money on that coach. So you're damn determined to make it worth your time and money. And so then you do show up and you go and tick the box and go to the gym because that's in the plan, and you do eat the right foods. And like I'm someone, if anyone knows me or has spent time around me, they know like I have such a sweet tooth, but it's never been lower than now. And like there is sugar in my plan, in my meal plan, absolutely, like plenty. But I'm not craving any extra. I'm not having to like walk past the Kit Kat going like, oh, I really want that, because I'm getting it in my plan, or not a Kit Kat, but I'm getting sugar in my plan. But also I'm so motivated because I'm like, I'm gonna make this work. This is gonna, like, I want to do this. I've made a decision to do this. I have a coach for accountability who's like helping me stay on track. My clients have been getting insane results for the past like 2+ years, and I lost like 7 kilos 2 years ago, and then I've probably slowly put back, well, not probably, I've put slowly back on 6 or so. Part of it muscle, so it's absolutely fine. I've also grown a business, so like there's
Mhm.
been other priorities, and I'm absolutely happy with that. And then recently I was like, my clients are getting insane results. I want these results. And for like maybe 3 or more months, I was doing it myself. And it was good, but I was like, I know I can do better, but I'm just, whenever I get to me, I'm kind of a bit exhausted. I've like given all day. So I was like, I'm going to get myself a coach that's going to just, now I don't have to think. It's that feeling I always get when I go into a class. Every now and then I do like gymnastics, so I go to flips classes. And when I walk into that room, the thing I love the most is I stand there and I'm like, I don't have to plan the warm up. I don't have to plan anything that's happening here. I just show up and do what I'm told. And it's the same with this coach and the accountability and the meal prep and all of that. It's like I know everything she's telling me and it makes complete sense, and it's basically the same stuff I tell my clients. But I can just show up and be like, okay, so what do I need to do today? And just listen and be told what to do. And I don't know, there's something very relaxing about that, and just makes it easier. And I find it, I stick to it.
Do you know what it is? It's being looked after, and I've realised this. I
Nice way to put it.
I like looking after people. I like acts of service. I like cooking for them. I like doing things for other people. And I often feel like you say, by the end of it, you're fully spent. So you've not got much time for yourself. And I've I've spent a lot over the years on one-to-one online coaching. And my coach has been absolutely amazing. And I'm gonna go back, hopefully, to one when she restarts back up again. Because I'm just a bit like, I now want to do another photo shoot this year purely because I turned 40, and to prove to myself that I can do it. I have put on quite a lot of muscle in the last couple of years. I've put on a little bit of fat as well because, like you say, other priorities. And I spend a lot on my boxing coach, a lot, because again, I want to be good in that space as well. But it's that, like you say, knowing that someone is there who is invested in you and is now looking after you, because
Yeah.
let's face it, who's really actually looking after us,
Yeah.
right?
That's actually such a nice way to put it. And when you get the right coach, and I do have the right coach right
Yeah.
now, she really does look after me. And I hadn't thought of it like that. And it's actually such a nice way to put it. Like, I put so much into my work and I love what I do. I put a lot into parkour training actually. And I don't specifically have a coach for that, but I have a lot of friends that I like collaborate with. And actually it is really nice to have someone looking after me. And also on what you were saying earlier is when you get to the end of the day and you've given and given, like you say, you're a giver, you like helping people, you like acts of service. I agree, but then you get to the end of the day and it's much easier, and it's very easy to get into a habit of being like, so I'm gonna have the chocolate, I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna treat myself, like I've done a lot today, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then there's also that aspect of, there's multiple reasons. I want to be lighter because it makes parkour easier and it makes my muscle up goal easier. Also, I want to like love my body. I want to look amazing. I train all year. I like looking ripped. That's what I want to like. That's okay. That doesn't mean no one has to. No one's forcing you to do it. Like, but it's what I want, and being able to take that and do something with it, and actually do that, get to a point where you're ripped and happy with your body. That gives you so much confidence because you have control of your body, you have control of your habits, you have control of your life, and that's something that's so empowering. The last 2 years building my business and being able to go from being working in a gym as a PT, working long hours because you do as a PT, you do the early morning shifts, you do the evening shifts, and then having the control or the ability to take action and that result in an outcome, which is building a business and it being successful enough to leave that job, that builds confidence because you're like, what I do works, I'm good at it, da, da, da. And it's the same with weight loss. It's like, it's not all about, it's never about being skinny, and neither of our businesses. It's not about diet culture. It's about you being able to take control of your life and follow up or follow through on what you said you were going to do and improve your life, and also improve your diet to be healthier, have more energy, feel amazing, but also love yourself, love what you see in the mirror, feel incredible in your clothes, and be strong and lean. It's never about being skinny.
Absolutely. And if you know one thing about me, you will know that I love fashion. I love my clothes. I have got an insane wardrobe that I don't wear right now purely because I'm always in gym gear. That's about it. But when I'm going out, I want to make an effort. I want to be, I love makeup. I used to be, a makeup artist in my 20s. That was like my little side hustle thing. And I like to be well put together. And I'm not my tiniest UK dress size anymore. Um, I sit comfortably, but I also know that I don't want my clothes to dig in. I've spent a lot on them. And actually, I don't want to size up because, again, I've invested so much in my wardrobe. So if I want to maybe lose a couple of pounds,
Yeah.
a couple of pounds is a lot different to wanting to lose for someone of my size in terms of my height, say 7 kilos.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
And last year was the first sort of year where I've not been regimented with my training. I've just done what I can, kept it ticking. The only thing that I was consistent with was the boxing, but actually it made me want to clean up my diet again, because if I'm lighter, I'm gonna move better. It made me consistent with, making sure my meal timings were good in terms of carbs and protein. And it started to show without me even actually really trying
Yeah.
some of that muscle that
Yeah.
I'd put on in the last couple of years.
Definitely, exactly. And like I still look lean and athletic, even now. And what was I going to say about what you just said was, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. I have never thought about dropping a dress size, and I've never. So I'm maybe like a UK size 10 to 12, I'd say.
Hmm.
And like, and when I look at my clothes, I'm like, I'm actually not trying to like drop a dress size or buy new clothes. The one thing I'd like is, for example, to fit better in the clothes I have. And that's an okay goal to have because it's not about, it'd be crazy if I was like, oh, I really want to be a size 8 or a size 6. Like to do that, I'd have to lose loads of muscle, really diet, get really small, and probably be quite weak. Whereas actually just going, okay, well, I am size 10 to 12, I'm perfectly happy with that. My clothes are fitting a bit tighter. It's the end, well, not the end of, it's not the end of winter, but it's been winter. It's been also 2 years for me of like kind of relaxing and just eating consistently, training consistently, but not trying to lose weight or get leaner. And now I just want to lean down a little bit. My clothes will fit better. You will definitely see my muscles more. And I love that. That's the healthy way to approach it. And it's, yeah, never about dropping a whole dress size. Um, and then something else you said was about also feeling good. Oh, yeah, that since having a coach, one of the great things that I give my clients is less decisions to make. So it just simplifies your life, especially if you're a busy woman or a busy person. It's so nice to have someone be like, cool, here's your exercise plan. Here's what you're going to eat for the week. Or here's the principles you need to follow. And I'm going to check in with you in a couple of days to see how you're doing.
Hmm.
And it's that accountability, but also that just simplifying your life. And it's made it so much easier to stick to because before I was being my own coach. And so I was also like doing both sides and then questioning myself or going back on myself or feeling tired one day and so craving more sugar, etc., etc. And now I'm just like, just do what I'm told. And that's so, I think, especially as someone who's very busy, that can help so much. And not only I've actually dropped quite a lot of weight really suddenly, which I assume is also holiday weight. But I've lost like 2.5 kilos in like
Hmm.
maybe two weeks, not even 2 weeks actually. I am pretty sure that won't continue. That's your holiday weight. But
Hmm.
what was I going to say about that? That yeah, it's just I can't remember what I was saying. But essentially, just doing what I'm told, not questioning it, just showing up, following the plan, and then as you see things are working, that makes you even more motivated to keep following it, essentially.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I like being shouted at. I like being told what to do, and I will listen. And I feel like I'm not getting that on a day-to-day basis at the moment because I've
Mm.
not got a coach. I work really well with coaches that I know my body, probably know me better than I know myself some days because
Yeah.
I have, when it comes to, and I've spoken about this before, I've got a very addictive personality when it comes to movement and
Mm.
exercise, and I can get really like lost in it.
Mm.
Because now I've decided, Georgia,
Mm.
dropping it, I'm going to do a high rocks this year.
Whoa, exciting. How do you feel about that?
Um, Initially, I was like, for the longest time, I was like, I'm never going to do this. It's not my vibe. I'm not interested whatsoever. And then someone that I know at the gym she did it with my boxing coach last year, and they really had a good time. And I was like, oh, guys. And then she was like slowly planting the seed, and I was like, "Do you know what? I'm fit. It'll go hand in hand with the boxing.
Yeah.
Why the fuck not?"
Yeah,
So
I think it's a really good test. I've thought about it too. I won't be doing it because it doesn't fit in everything I've got going on. But I really like, and I am doing this as of a few years, I like having 1 or 2 challenges in a year. Like times where you show up, you don't really know how it's going to go, and you just a test to see like how fit are you? Can you get through this? And actually, it's quite nice to go in with like little comparison, like not knowing, what's fast, what's not. It's just like, can you keep going? And
yeah.
I think Hyrox is, I probably also why it's so successful is it is that kind of format. You go in, you do know what's coming because I think it's always the same, but you go in, it's a test. It's like, how fit are you? And I think
Mhm.
having a few things throughout the year where it's like, again, it's not about your weight on the scales. It's not about how your clothes fit. It's about how fit and strong are you. All that training you've done of the year now go, this is your test. And it
Yeah.
could be like, for one of my clients, it's a half marathon. She's terrified of it, but she's also like, I want to see if I can do it. And even if I walk bits of it, I want to see if I can do it. Or I did in October, I did like a gym that I used to work at does like a Halloween challenge. And it's just, you show up, you don't know what the day is going to involve, and you just try and survive. And you have like 3 lives, and every time you don't finish a challenge, so it might be like carrying loads of weights around the block or stuff like that. Every time you fail the challenge, you lose a life. And when you're out of your 3 lives, you're out. You can watch and whatever, but you try and get as far as you can through the day. And like stuff like that, it's like, I'm not training for this specifically, but I'm training to be strong. I'm training
Yeah.
so that when, I trip up, I catch myself, or when something happens, when I need to sprint. What was the other day? My client was telling me she had to
Mm.
sprint to basically talk to some policemen and help her granddad out. And she just sprinted over, things like that, being fit and ready when needed. And you can create little scenarios like that in your life to keep you going, to keep you to test yourself, like a high rocks. So that's
Yeah.
so cool. I'm so glad you're doing that.
Absolutely. So let's see how it goes. I think I start my training like ease it in this week. I mean, it's months away. But actually it'll be a good sort of test because everyone's like, you box, you can do a high rocks.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, if I can get punched in the face, I could do a high rocks. So that's how I'm treating it. I'm treating it with a little bit of fun, but I'm trying not to get obsessive from the get-go.
It's quite fun, I think. I did a workout that was slightly inspired by that, and it was fun. It was grueling, but it was fun. Also, one thing I love about your coaching is that you also have the like makeup and fashion side. So I don't know how much you integrate it, or I guess it depends on the client, but I have watched your stories and sometimes thought like, wouldn't it be nice to be like, Kany, I've got a date tonight. I don't know what to wear. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I know you would love messages like that, and you would just reply and be like, yeah, this one or this or and I know you have done things like help people clear out their wardrobes or like reset their wardrobes.
So it's something that I'm considering this year is like bolt on, like
Mm.
services. I just need to make sure that I'm doing it properly and, again, giving a good high level of service if I am going to do it. But if someone messages, you're probably more likely to get me to respond to be like, oh, I've seen this outfit. Do you reckon that'll look good on me compared to like, should I wear this top or should I do this? I love that sort of thing. Like, I can spend hours and hours and hours looking for outfits on all these online shops, piecing them all together, what having it work to people's, because I was saying it to someone else, is that I know what generally works good on my body and other people's bodies because I spent so many years hating being in clothes and not knowing what to wear. So I had to kind of figure out whether it was tailoring, whether it was, spending a little bit more or, just
Yeah.
tweaking things and cutting things up. So yeah, I
Yeah.
absolutely love that.
Yeah. I just found out one of my friends is like really good at sewing and like she
Yeah.
like makes hoodies from scratch and stuff like that. And I'm like, I text her, I was like, look, I've got a bunch of clothes. Can I come round and just like they need tightening or there's a zip that's broken? And I'm actually really excited to just sit down with her and like kind of edit my clothes, which is quite
Yeah,
fun as well. But yeah, we are going to wrap it up there. It has been so fun chatting to you, Kany. We should definitely do this again before the end of the year.
absolutely. See how we're getting on with
Yeah.
all our different goals.
Yeah, we can have a touch base again in like 6 months or something.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed this podcast, you should head to follow us on our 2 separate podcasts, Strength with G and
Coach by Kany, but also
Kany.
where to find you on Instagram.
Yes, so you can follow me on Instagram at Strength with G. And if you found any of this like useful or you have questions, message me or message Kany as well. What's your Instagram handle?
It's Kany Vasani. That's all it is. It's all one word, Kany
Perfect.
Vasani.
We'll put it in the show notes below as well. But like, if you enjoyed listening to us, if you also enjoyed the idea of being coached by one of us, message us. Let's just start that chat. We'll ask about your goals. We'll ask about what you're doing currently, and then we can respond with how we can help you get to where you want to be.
Perfect. Thank you for having me.
Great. Let's speak soon. Thanks, Kany. Have good
Cheers.
days, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.